What's up? This is a little bit of a V-Ray, Revit, Max, workflow, ARCH2101 from the beginning tutorial. So there's a link here. It should be a link below this video that gets you to this drive, Google Drive with all of this stuff in it. What you want to do is select all this to start. You want to select all this stuff and download it. It should download it as a zip file. And then if you go into your downloads, you should be able to see that. And then it allows you to extract all files. So extract all the files. But what you're going to do is browse to somewhere where you can get your documents. So maybe under Libraries, Documents, My Documents. And there should be a folder there called 3ds Max Design, not Max Design. You want to click on that just once and then hit OK. And when we hit OK, what it should ask us to do is copy and replace. Copy but keep both file, or sort of maybe in some sort of version of this. What you want to do is copy and replace everything. So I've already done this, so I'm going to skip it, but make sure you do this for all the conflicts there are, and copy and replace, and do that. And that will get you set up with your files. So the next thing we want to do is we want to open up Max and set up the drive paths so that they go to that folder that we just put everything in. Max may just work, but it may not. Even if it looks right, we're going to go through the drive path process just to make sure that everything is linking correctly. So you'll open it. You open it. There might be a window that pops up first that gives you some stuff, and there might be a little checkbox that says "Don't open this again," and I would recommend that so it doesn't open anymore. And then you might see this, you might not. You might see a sky, you might see black. Those are all little variations, but don't freak out. Even if you see nothing, there's no cube, whatever, what we're going to do is go to Customize, Configure User Paths. We've got this, we're going to click those boxes, and you're going to go to your Documents, wherever you find that, under your name, Documents, and then you're going to go to click on that folder and hit OK. If you get something like this, just say OK. And then go over to external references, and the ones that are there will probably be fewer of them than this. Delete them all, and then add there, and make sure you go to the. See, what it does is it takes me to a different folder, and I don't want to be in there. I want to be in that folder I just made. My documents, where are my documents? 3ds Max. So I'm gonna click on this once. Click on Add Subpath, so it'll do all the folders and folders within folders and all that stuff. Use that path, click it twice, hit OK, and now I'm going to restart Max. So now I should have all my drive paths set up, everything should be good, and I'm going to close it down and I'm going to restart it. So then when we want to do the workflow from Revit, I'm going to go into Revit here and show what's going on. We're going to use the sample small residential project that comes with Revit 2016. We're going to try to render that as soon as that opens. So just to go back to Max quick, I was just doing that. Just to go back to Max while it's open, click this little button right here, Render Production, and just see if this works. If you get that. If you get that, you're in great shape. That means you're all set up. Everything needs to go. If you don't, try again to make sure that all your drive paths are correct, that you didn't put all those files that you downloaded onto another folder on your desktop or something. Put it in the Max Design folder on your My Documents folder. Make sure that you extracted them first while there. Just kind of go through those first few steps. So Revit, we're going to do the sample architecture project, which is right here. If it's not right here in these windows, because you've done a bazillion Revit projects, go to Open. I believe that's in Autodesk. Maybe not. It'd be in might be in your program files, Revit, and then there's a sample folder, and then you're going to do this sample project, RAC basic sample project, right there. That's that one right there. That's the one we want. So that should be it. So then you'd open it. It's also right here, and just by default, if you're going to go there, it's right there. And we're going to clean this up and get it ready to bring into Max. So this is what we get for renderings out of the cloud on Max. This is what we're trying to do better than. So these are good. These aren't terrible. And these are what I would call sketch renders. And sketch renders are really, really useful. And because you can do them really fast, and you can do them on the cloud. So, you may, if you're in a pinch and the photorealism isn't totally important to you, please do in a pinch, right? They're not as professional. And what I want to show everyone is the possibilities that you can do with V-Ray to make these really, really professional. So, okay, so we're going to export this, but the first thing I want to do is clean this up. So I'm going to go to the first level plan, and I think I'm going to just delete some of the furniture, because the furniture that comes into Max is not great. It's not perfect it's not very well made for rendering. It's just really low poly, and you'll notice it if you get in there. So I'm going to keep all the appliances just because whatever, but I'm going to delete all of this garbage because it's just not going to do anything for us. Whatever. Room tags aren't going to come in anyway. I don't want to move that window. Stop it. Silly rivet. Let's pick those windows up. There. I'm probably going to delete the stove too. I don't like that stove. So let me look at this in 3D and see if there's anything else I want to delete. Yeah, I want to get rid of these trees. They're not going to show up in Max even if I do bring them in, but I'm just going to delete them just so they're not there. I don't want this car in there. These people don't need to be in there. So that's pretty cleaned up right there. So it'll keep things nice and clean. It'll come in fast. So now when I'm in 3D mode, I want to go to Export FBX. And the reason we're doing an FBX instead of a Revit is because it's a little more stable when you're going across platforms, across different softwares and versions. So I'm putting this in my import folder. Again, I'm putting in that same 3ds Max design folder. Max is very particular about drive paths. Everything's a link. So I'm putting this in here. I'm going to call this one. That was my old one. So I'm going to do this. Just called Biz House 2. This is my old one. I'm just going to keep that in there. But it's in my import folder, FBX, and I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to go to Max, and I'm going to go to Import. I'm going to hit this little arrow right next to Import, and then I'm going to do Link FBX. And when I link an FBX file, it works like an FREF. Not an FREX. That's like a weird dinosaur. So I'm going to go into Import. There's my Biz House 2. There's the other one. So Biz House 2 I'm going to do. And I'm going to open that. Now what I want to do is set up these presets. I want to combine by Revit material. It makes it really easy to apply material. So what I'm doing is assigning the material IDs in Revit and in developing the materials themselves in Max with V-Ray. The incoming file units doesn't matter. That should already be set. This is what I really want to mess with or make sure is right. So what you need to do is go over to the presets, and here is that preset that we're on by Revit material. Modify it. I want to make sure that all of these are unchecked. I don't want to bring any of this stuff in. I want to do these myself. But I do want to make sure this gets checked. So this means if you go back into Revit and you make some changes and you save over the FBX that you just made or that we're linking here, then all the material IDs will stay linked. You won't have to redo all your materials every time. They'll all stay linked. So I'm just going to hit save. And I am going to go ahead and go to the file that I want to attach, which is Biz House 2, open, and then I'm going to attach. So this might take a minute. Oh no, it went really fast. Forget it. It doesn't take a minute. So here we are. I've got my model in here. Now that cube and plane that came in initially is still in there. So I want to get rid of that. So to do that, I hit H. H is sort of a funny reason that it's H, but it's H. And there should be a thing called a plane 01, and then there should be a box. So I'm going to do control click on box 01. And this is an easy way to select things in a complex model so you don't lose it. Hit H, it gives you everything. You can filter through things. It's good. Hit OK, I'm going to delete. So that now I'm just down to the model. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Save as House 2. How about that? just to make sure I've got it. And then now I want to make sure everything is a V-Ray material. So it's really important. V-Ray is very particular about materials not being V-Ray materials. It blows up the rendering. It kind of does weird things. So the easiest way to do that is hit Control A, select everything, and then I'm going to go into my material editor. You can press M or you can click on this little guy. And you can see there really aren't any, but these are all just the defaults that come in on the palette by default. But I want to get materials from a library that I've given you. So the way I do that is you click on that little get materials thing. This will tell me the materials that are in the scene, and then I'll go to this little arrow here, open material library, and this will take me into the material libraries, and here I've got some. So I'm going to open the architecture. I'm going to open the environment material library first because we're going to work on environment. And there's what's called an override material. An override material is a material that renders in V-Ray without problems very, very fast. So I'm going to slide that over there, and now that is the override material in that slot. The best way to think of these materials is the materials that are saved off, sitting in a library, and this is your palette. So think of yourself as like a painter, and these are all, in these material libraries are all your cans or tubes of paint. And this is the little palette that you have that's right in front of you that you can quickly apply to things. These materials are not necessarily the scene materials. To get to the scene materials, you'd have to look here. So right now there's really only one V-Ray material, and that's the light. So now what I want to do with this override material with everything selected is go to material, assign to selection. So that now everything in the scene is a V-Ray material. It's still linked to the Revit model, which is awesome. So I'm going to go to this next one over, get material, open material library, architecture. And I'm going to take this glass material and slide it over there. So I've got my glass material. And then I'm going to deselect everything by just clicking somewhere. And then I'm going to click and drag this into the scene. And what you'll see what happens is there's this little pop-up that comes up that tells me what material I'm on. You'll see that it might change as I move to something else. Well, I guess I've only got glass here, which is good. I'm holding my left mouse button down right now to see which material I'm on, so I know I'm on the right material. And when I unclick, it'll assign that to that material, and I'm going to hit render and see, make sure I've got everything set up correctly, and it looks like I do. So there you go. I've got a scene. We're all set up. So that's the initial setup. That's part one. Part two is next.